All right.
Can you hear us?
Flooding right out, so insurance companies are changing their flood policy.
You guys are talking, we can't hear you. I think you're muted still.
Starting in one moment, okay?
Hi, no,
Starting.
oh, yeah, no, did this, because this was on.
It was, oh, okay.
Right, so, no, the meeting hasn't started. We were just greetings and salutations. But hello, everyone in the virtual space. How are you all doing?
Good evening.
Fantastic.
Good, good, good to see you all. All righty. Hold on.
I think it's muted still.
Hello, everyone. Can everyone online hear me?
We can.
Excellent. Okay, welcome to the second Charter Review Commission meeting. Today is May 1st. The time is 6:13 p.m. and we will start with a roll call. We'll start with the members that are in-house. Okay, so we'll go around the table. Starting with you, Karine.
Karine Bell.
Karine Bell.
Ronald Anderson, David Rogers.
Anitra Hadley.
Pamela Boyd.
Kendra David.
And online?
Kevin Morrison.
Okay,
Eileen Lambert.
thank you.
Dolores Lopes.
Monica
Thank-
Whiting Hogans.
Thank you. Okay, so we've completed roll call. As I stated, today is May 1st, 2024. We have two council members with us tonight. We have in-house Councilman Javon Boxer, and online we have Councilwoman Danielle Brown. We will start with ladies first.
Okay.
We will start with Councilwoman Danielle Brown, who's online.
Thank you. That's sexism, Clerk Walters, but we'll let it slide this time. Thank you all. I wanted to come in. I'm sorry that I wasn't able to make the last meeting. I'm actually traveling today, which is why I'm on Zoom as opposed to being in-house. But I'm super excited that the Charter Revision Commission is starting up. It's been something that I'm at the train station, so you may hear trains. But it's been a long time, waiting. I think the charter is more than antiquated and been through a couple of times. So I'm just excited about the work that you all are going to be able to do and here to be a resource, right, to provide some insight on how government works or how it's been working since I've been in office. So thank you, and I'll pass it to Councilman Boxer.
Thank you, Acting President Brown. Councilman Boxer.
Yeah, so I was just saying basically the same thing earlier, that this work is such important work, and I'm just so glad that you guys are taking up this responsibility because it's a lot. It's a whole lot. And I know a little bit about some of you guys' backgrounds and such, and it's been, I'm even happier to hear, you know, the wide range of expertise that we have joined together so I know this is going to get done and done correctly, and just appreciate you guys. And so thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Boxell. Does anyone have any questions for either council members? Okay, if that's it, you're free to leave if you don't want to stay.
Wow.
Okay, no, you said you had to go.
I did. Let you guys start up, maybe like 15 minutes.
Okay. All right, so as we discussed last week, have you considered who or possibly if you are interested in becoming the chair or vice chair or secretary? Those online, can you hear me? We will not have a vote this week, and when we do, we'll go into executive session to also choose the 15th member. But we can start a conversation on what your expectations are for the chair and the vice chair and secretary, and if you are considering that position.
Are the positions outlined in the documentation?
Not that I provided you, but it's provided in the charter that I had sent via email.
In the operating chart? Yes.
And again, this can be, you know, you can consider if you want to take on the position. There's nothing to vote on tonight. There's no vote happening tonight. Is everyone now online? I sent everyone their city emails and how to access that email. Are we all good?
The direction, I haven't finished it, but the directions were clear.
Okay, good. And so if you had finished your access, how to gain access, are you now able to see the SharePoint site and see all the resumes, and have you started reviewing the resumes?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah, I got
Perfect.
through halfway, like halfway.
okay, good. Okay, so everybody,
With that, is it possible to say like who's already on the commission versus who's?
They were.
yes, so everyone here is, so what I can do is remove those that are already on the commission.
That's the ones that.
No, it's the entire SharePoint site.
That would be great.
Correct. Okay, I will absolutely do that. I will remove everyone that's listed here.
Okay.
Okay,
Clerk Walters, are you at the laptop? Can you see comments? Because Dolores wrote a comment in the chat.
I'm sorry.
There's a comment in the chat.
Oh, okay. Let me see. Okay, Ms. Lopes, I will resend the email to you, okay?
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
So just for a point of clarification, the SharePoint that you sent us has all of the resumes and or the emails. So from there, we are selecting the 15th member. Am I correct? Okay.
So it has all the resumes of
Okay.
everyone else, right?
Okay.
Of everyone. So you'll select from there.
Is there any sort of criteria or rubric we should be considering in terms of it? Or is it just going to be a vote in terms of whom that 15th member will be?
So, yes, and that's a good question. I spoke briefly last week in regards to everyone's background here. And so you would look to appoint someone that doesn't have the experience that you have, right? Because we want a diverse board. So we have 2 attorneys on the board, a real estate, an architect, an engineer, city planner, MBA student, also work at the
New York State Judicial Institute.
right. So what I'll do for the next meeting is print everyone's resume, right? Or I'm going to forward it to you so you can all see everyone's information, and then you can select from the remaining folks that doesn't have that professional background. So we can have a diverse group,
Okay,
okay? That's good enough? Do you have a question?
I do have a question, but I'll reserve it.
You can ask.
No, I'm just, I'll formulate my question later. I have to think about how I
Okay.
want to frame it.
Okay.
Well, if all of the resumes that you see, when you break out instead of removing the ones for the current committee members, just put them in a separate drive so we all know.
We'll do that.
Yeah, those as well.
Yes. That makes sense. Yep, we'll do that.
But you said that for like 15. Yeah.
No, we have 15 members on the board and
No,
it's
no.
already
When you
14.
were talking about
Put in a sheet.
reviewing resumes,
Uh-huh.
you said it was like 15 and 20 resumes that we had to review. And when I was scrolling down, I was like, yeah, more than, yeah.
Maybe when we remove
You-
the
yeah, that's
folks
what
that
I-
are already appointed, it will be less. All right. What's on the agenda? Let me open the agenda and go review. All right, so we discussed, right, deciding on if you want to become a chair or vice chair or secretary. That will be, definitely, we have to have a vote by the next meeting, right? We have to choose the 15th member and we have to choose the positions. We have to also choose, I know the last meeting, we decided that it would be more frequent meetings until you all were settled, right? So we have to decide on when we're gonna meet again, right? If it's gonna be a week from now, 2 weeks from now. What,
I think the consensus was from the people who served last time was that it should be weekly.
I served last time. I mean, it was a lot, but weekly meetings are tough, especially if it's in person.
yeah,
I mean, that was what came out of the last meeting because of the amount of work and the shortened time period. I don't have any context for that, so.
Yeah.
Well, what's our, I know the deadline is, the ultimate deadline is the election. So which election are we shooting for? Sort of work.
so. And I'm calling it Councilwoman Brown and, Councilman, Boxill that's here. I know when I'm reading the chart, I'm not sure if I'm interpreting it correctly, but we should be shooting for some form of, legislation or something to be placed on this upcoming election, right? But then ultimately it goes on to the next following election. That's how it's 1.5 years.
So it goes by the state. And so basically you have to do it within 2 elections.
Within 2
You have to do
elections.
it this election or next election.
Okay,
But when you, but if you wait until if you did it this election, we'd have to have everything ready by August.
right. And so we
That's like
won't be ready.
Yeah, that
Okay.
would be too short.
So next election, everything has to be done.
So November.
By then.
August 2025, we have to submit.
So by August 2025, we need to have
Okay.
everything together and ready to submit.
Okay.
At the latest, but they still have to, the Board of Elections still has to approve it.
Okay.
All of that.
So more like June.
That would be
Because that
ideal.
would be ideal because
Yeah.
we still need to probably go over things just to make sure
If they have-
everything, yeah.
They
Then
say
questions,
it's
anything.
wrong.
Yeah.
And so I think the opinion of the other people is that that is already such a short
Short time.
period of time that trying to do it in less time just would not be
It's
feasible.
yeah.
So I know there was also, and everyone online, you're free to jump in, right? I know. No, you're free to talk. So I know one of the discussion was, okay, should we start once a week now? And when we get all the subcommittees together, they can break off and do their own work, and then we meet probably twice a month. Does that sound feasible for everyone? Yeah.
I think the challenge,
Agreed.
I think the
No.
real challenge more than meeting is if we have to be in person.
Yeah.
That's more of the challenge in terms of how frequently. If we're talking about meeting weekly,
Right.
that can get,
I think we need to talk about what people's commitments are outside of here
Yeah.
and whether they travel for work,
Right.
vacation plans. You're talking about 13 months, right? So
Mhm.
just to be brass tacks it, right? So you're talking about what, 56 weeks? So in theory, we could have 56 meetings from now to next June. That's not an awful lot of time. And then you got to take in people are traveling. So I just, like you said, work backwards. I think we have to figure out what our priorities are because I don't know if we can get to everything. I mean, that would be great, but I'm a realist. Like if I can get to like 75% of it, I could, directionally move it. I'm okay with that. So I just think we need to figure that out because we're now coming into summer. I know people disappear, myself included. I'm gone for a couple of weeks this summer, so I won't be here. So I think, just knowing everybody's schedule and then we can work from there. Or I'm a night owl, so if it means that, I could do things at night, but I know that's not everybody's preference. I think we just have to figure that out.
So I think also what we need to do is narrow in on what is most important for you to work on now, right? So I think that calls for conversations with the council body, the mayor, the controller, the law department, and also the department heads. So we want to do that for the fourth meeting after we choose the 15th member. So for the fourth meeting, number 4, we have to have a lot of folks in the room so we can start narrowing down.
can we start doing, I mean, I know we have chair or vice chair or secretary, but can we start sort of assigning people or if they want to volunteer to start having these conversations with people? To at least get some notes. Like she said, I think we're gonna have to work on flexible schedule in terms of when stuff gets done. And then come together, whether it's Zoom or in-person meetings.
But I think, like she was saying, she also having a starting point, knowing what we need to focus on, and then breaking the members out into the smaller committees so that we're giving the specific duties, like you and I will be in charge of doing X, Y, and Z. I think it'll make it easier for when we do come together, everybody's bringing their piece to the table, and then we can discuss as a whole. So we have to get to that point first.
Right. Well, I thought that's what Walters was saying in terms of if we need to talk to the controller or the council people to see what they No, I'm saying see what they
the priorities. Yeah.
Right. So we have to have those conversations even before we sort of come together and set up a subdivision. So what I'm saying is while we're sort of waiting to hash out issues for those of us who have flexibility and time, can we start having those conversations?
I think everybody needs to hear the same thing, though. I think.
We gotta be on the same page at the same time.
Repeat that conversation.
Remember, ultimately, we're gonna have to vote on.
And then we got a 15th member we gotta vote on. If that person is not here yet, we can't really jump into that, because then that person's gonna have to be put up to speed.
Right.
I think I need to have
Trying to get
something
too far
to say.
ahead of the game too fast.
Based on our
Just
project.
curious, like, how many members are like new members versus
Return.
return? Yeah.
I think they're like.
There's 3, 4.
I think
I was
so.
gonna say 3,
Just 3 return?
Eileen, Vanessa, Mary, and me.
4,
Okay.
4.
But it was really like, so last time we did it, we didn't have any budget. And so I know the mayor said this time we do have a budget, which was excellent.
Yes.
And so one of the things, we had some pro bono work. One of the things that was really helpful if we would have had a budget. There are people, like there are professionals who do this for a living.
Absolutely.
And so we could actually, like as a first step, maybe bring them in. There's a whole center that like worked with pro bonos last time.
So we do have a budget. I think it's $30,000, but I'll double check.
Right,
Okay.
it's amazing.
Yeah.
So, but we could potentially interview some of those folks who do this for a living, because they could really help guide us and like help us structure our time.
I work with the county charter on a daily basis with my job. And if you don't have those people, it's rough trying to navigate through a charter and some of the wording and things like that. You need someone who actually talks this on a daily basis.
Do you have the contact?
I do, and if you have another.
Oh, yeah, I can get some.
Bring in
Provide me with that information.
Yeah,
so I can
we could
reach
bring
out.
in more than one and then
Yeah.
like interview them
Yeah.
Okay.
and
Yeah.
see who could maybe help.
Feel like,
Yeah.
So that'll be good, you know, like in terms of like just. So we're not spinning our wheels and, you know,
Yes.
kind of have somebody to help us.
So,
Dan has a right hand, you think?
oh, Acting President, please speak.
Sorry, I just boarded the train, but I was curious to know if you had the opportunity to share the James Coon revising city charter with the current
No.
commission, so that they have a starting point and understand exactly. I know some members have dealt with the charter before, but for those who aren't familiar, can
Okay,
you hear me or
so
no?
you broke up and we missed the first half of what you said, or probably 90%. Can you repeat, please?
Okay. Give me a second. Let me get to a better spot and then I'll come back on.
Okay, thank you. All right, in the meantime, we do have Councilman Thompson that just walked in. Councilman Thompson, can you do a brief introduction? For everyone online, Councilman Thompson, can you please sit there so people online can see you? Take that. And please do a brief introduction, please, and any other comments that you'd like to.
I know most, but I'm Councilman Derek Thompson. I'm the senior councilman on the council. And you know, I'm just here to help and look forward to getting some great things done in the city.
Any questions for Councilman Thompson, being that he's a senior member on the.
But was anybody able to get on? Because this password is not working for me.
I'm sorry,
The temporary password is not working.
change me,
Yeah.
$sign?
Mhm.
Okay, so I'll reach out to IT tomorrow, okay?
Okay.
No, it's,
No.
I just
Did you
copy
just
paste
walk
and then I
into-
typed it up with that 100, yeah. It's not working for me. I don't know if
Anybody else?
it's signing on, like,
Yeah.
You may have to restart and then.
set it.
Yeah. Great.
Yeah.
Okay, folks online, I don't want you to feel like you're being left out. Do you have anything to add?
No, but I'm following along, so I think it's good flow.
I'm sorry? Ms. Lambert?
No, nothing to add. I'm following along. It's good dialogue.
Okay,
That kind of presents like the problem with Zoom sometimes. It's connection.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Feel a little bit disconnected from the table.
Yeah. That's why in person is always better.
So I do understand, right? Summer is coming up. Schedules might be a little bit off. Now, per open meetings law, there has to be a quorum, right? So depending on who has to be here, or, you know, you don't have to all be here at the same time. If there, you know, there's exceptions, if there's extenuating circumstance where you can't, say you're going on vacation, or vacation is already planned, right? If you can Zoom in or you can't make it whatsoever, that's fine, but we just have to have a majority to have a vote.
Is that, does that apply to subcommittees that have to be, can you meet in private in a subcommittee, or does it to be,
Depending on how many regular members are there.
Or in the subcommittee.
So if you have 3 or more committee members there, then it would have to be an open meeting.
Mhm.
Because now, if you have a quorum, it should be an open meeting.
Need a quorum for the body because
If you have a-
our quorum is what, 8? Or
Yes.
8, right?
So the body's forum is 8, but they're gonna break off into subcommittees. So that's a good question. I'm gonna research it. I'm not sure, Councilman.
Subcommittees mean what, maybe 2 of you and then the
Like if we break into 4 subcommittees and then we have like 4 people on the subcommittee, and we want to be like in between the meetings, do we have to then?
That should be okay.
That's fine, that's
No,
not,
the subcommittees can meet without it being a public meeting. Any meetings under 7 or 7 and under can meet.
Okay.
You're talking
Can
about.
we do something
you're
where
talking
every?
about-
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Ms. Lambert.
Do we have a situation where like every other week we meet together as a committee, full committee, and then the in between weeks would be subcommittee meetings? That could be virtual.
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
So twice a month in person, like every other week in person, full committee. The opposite week, so say week 1 and 3, all in person, and then subcommittee or in person or on Zoom, and then subcommittee week 2 and 4.
Whatever the group decide, that sounds like a good alternative, right? To meeting every week. But it's whatever you all decide, because remember, I'm not a part of the group. I'm just, hosting and helping you all to proceed successfully. So whatever you decide among yourselves, that's what it's gonna be. Okay.
I think that's that's definitely a good suggestion. Once we have the 15th member and we decide, I think every 2 weeks, in my opinion, every 2 weeks would be good. And then when we break out into our subcommittees, we can get together as often as we need to tackle the different things. And then when we get to the regular meeting, then we put all our stuff on the table that we discussed in the subcommittees. Because you never know who may have a little bit of time in between their day to just meet real quick and go over some things. I
Right.
mean, I'm all over the place during the summer. I work for Parks and Rec.
Yeah.
So I'm back and forth all day. So I need to eat lunch and do work at the same time.
Right.
So you never know. But I think that would be a good place to start. Once we have 15th member, we voted on vice chair, chair, and secretary. If it's at least every 2 weeks, and then in the subcommittees, once we form those, we break out and have our own smaller meetings. I think that could work. Because at the end of the day, I know it sounds crazy, and I know when the young lady that was sitting here last meeting
Miss Kingsley, she's online.
said 40 to 60 hours, I mean, that's a lot. But at the end of the day, we all know you're only gonna get out of it what you put into it.
Right.
I mean, and if we put our hearts into it, I love my city. If we put our hearts into it, I think we'll get a good outcome.
Yeah. And Mary, thank you for joining us. Just so you know, I'm not sure if you can see this. I made copies. Thank you kindly. Everyone will eventually get their copies. This is a big book plus printout. It's all here. And I have your binder back in place, okay?
Oh, okay.
Thank you, Mary. This was very thoughtful.
Can
of
you hear
very
me?
kind. Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, sorry. I do art. My service project for the Rotary on Wednesdays is teaching arts and music at the Boys and Girls Club. So I don't get ton of time to get to you on time.
Okay. I'm sorry?
I do that every Wednesday.
Okay, all right, thank you. I have 2 folks online, 2 members that says that twice a month works good, better. Okay. So.
Yeah. It's the same issue though. But yeah, you gotta start somewhere.
What I'll do this time again is just send an email out for you to vote on what day works best for you, and then the majority, will succeed, and I'll send an email out.
Can we vote virtually for the 15th member, or do we need to be in a meeting to vote for?
So a quorum has to be here. So as long as a quorum is here, then you
So
can do
we do have to be in person to vote for the 15th.
a quorum. A quorum.
8 of us.
At least 8
Yes.
of us have to
Yes.
be in.
8 of us has to be in the room, and the others can be on
That's what I'm
Zoom.
saying, physically.
Yes, yes.
Can't all be on Zoom.
No.
unless there was a tragedy, like when COVID happened.
Yeah.
So unless it's something massive like that, but as per open meetings, so we have to be in house.
Yeah, it has
To
to
have a
be.
quorum in house.
Mhm. So the voting will not be public, right? So when it's time to vote, I'll remove us from live streaming. Those that are on Zoom will only be the members that are on Zoom because it has to be in an executive session. It can't be public, and we'll have the discussions there and conversations.
All right, so can we agree on a meeting time for next week? At least we can get the 15th member in
Okay,
before we go to. Since that seems to be,
Said next week.
okay.
Yeah, just
Next
to-
week,
just to get-
Monday and Wednesday is off for me. I have council meeting.
yeah,
work
just to get the
session.
15th member in, so.
Okay.
I'm gonna be leaving you guys now, but pleasure meeting you all.
Sure.
Thank you, everyone online. Appreciate you guys, and we'll be in touch. And reach out to me anytime you guys have any questions, for sure.
Thank you so much for
Thank
talking
you for
about
the clarification on that.
Oh.
Yeah. Might have a chip.
it. Thank you so much for stopping by, Councilman Bosco.
You wanted to do existing members, so
Yes.
you know what's happening in here.
Yeah, I definitely think an existing member, one of the older existing members should have the chair.
Ah,
And a newbie, and a newbie. And a newbie for vice chair.
Vice Chair.
Yeah.
That's a good suggestion.
That's like a good idea.
Oh,
Sounds like you want to be vice chair. That's what it sounds like.
Could you repeat that? It was a little muffled, so if you could repeat that, please.
They suggested that one of the members who have already been on the board be the chair, and one of the new members be the vice chair, until everyone gets acquainted and accustomed to the procedures, and then move forward from there.
Thank
Did you hear me? Okay. But I want to encourage everyone, don't stress yourselves out. It's a lot of reading, it's a lot of work, but what will give you solace is just say, after I'm long gone, I did something great for my city. So just let your common ground always be what's best for Mount Vernon. You know, if I had here, it wouldn't have fell out of work. This is what I'm telling you. So don't stress yourself out.
So the one that I have left, if I don't have
That's
any,
it. Just don't stress yourself.
if I don't have any hours,
There's
no correlation.
I tell everyone who does any work for the city, it's a joy. Sometimes it can be a lot, and don't allow it to stress you, because you're thinking, like I tell you, I'm born, raised, educated, employed, everything in Mount Vernon. And I just love the city of Mount Vernon. So I don't let anything stress me out. Whatever I can do for the city, I will do for the city. And although sometimes we can disagree, but don't become disagreeable, if you will. You know, just always keep a positive attitude. And yes, y'all will bump heads on some things, but let your common ground say, whatever decision we make, let it be for the betterment of Mount Vernon. And I promise you, you will never stress yourself out.
thank you. Good advice, Councilman Thompson. All right, so we're deciding now on when to meet. Is everyone online? Have an idea of when they would like to meet next week? As I said, next week, Monday and Wednesday. I'm not available. I have work session, Monday night council, work session, council meeting, work session, and on Wednesday is the regular legislative session.
Is Thursday an option?
Okay.
I was just saying, yeah, because I'm not here Tuesday. I'm out of town, still out of town.
Thursday.
You go out of town and you leave us here?
That's what it sounds like.
I came back in town for this meeting.
Oh, okay.
And I'm
Thursday.
leaving out tomorrow morning.
So you didn't invite us twice, is what you're telling us.
You think these meetings are bad? You don't want to go to meeting about it.
He might be going to do
Thursday.
something. So I don't know.
Exactly, this is a vacation.
We have to have a forum.
We have to have a, right,
Even for next week?
yes.
Yes.
Yep.
That's when we move.
Okay,
Yes.
because I know I can't be in-house next week.
Can you be online?
I can probably dial in.
Okay.
So if
How-
you get a majority,
I should be able to come on Thursday online. I may be able to come in person. I have a friend coming down for a cardiac procedure, staying with me. If all goes well, I could be in person, but I may have to stay home with her.
Okay. How about
Tuesday,
everyone
not
else?
an
You know what?
option?
Next week, I just have a hard stop at 6:45. I have a 7 o'clock meeting next week.
What day is this for Thursday?
I just realized I suggested Thursday and forgot that I have a standing meeting on Thursday, but it starts at 7 and it's virtual.
I think we just need to decide if we can
What
get
about
8 on
Tuesdays?
Thursday, right?
All right, so right now, I'm gonna send an email out and we can converse in that email. I know everyone is saying Thursday, but some folks are saying that maybe Thursday doesn't work. I see Monica is shaking her head. Thursday doesn't work for her. Eileen is saying Thursday hard stop at 6:45. So what I'm gonna do is now, when I go back to my office, I'll just send an email out so we can start having that conversation, right? Because
You can check virtual or in person.
virtual or in person on Thursday.
If we're gonna.
And maybe earlier, if the lateness of it is a problem, maybe that one time we could start at 5:30.
I work. I can't.
So yeah, I said 6 o'clock because I know the majority has a 9 to 5, and so 6 is much more convenient schedule wise. So
But maybe
yes.
that one time we could do 5:30 because we need to have the quorum in place, right? I don't know, just a thought. Just a thought.
Well, put it this way, if we just limit the meeting to voting for the 15th member, if you can do 6 and be out by 6:30.
Okay.
That's we have to. How would we, there would have to be some discussion. How you came up with this.
Are you serious? Because we all probably gonna pick somebody different for the 15th, and we all are not gonna be on the
We can
same
maybe do
page.
that.
Well, put it this way, we can do that through email between now and then, so by the time we get there on the.
Yeah, so we all
We
have
have-
the name
right, or at least,
Narrow it
Narrow
down.
it
Like
down.
maybe say everyone recommends 2 or 3 people.
Right,
We see where the overlay
Right.
is. And then those are people we vote on.
Majority.
In terms
Acting
of the-
President
of-
Brown, I'm sorry. Mary, do you have something to say?
No, that was Monica.
Oh, Monica, I'm sorry. Monica, go ahead.
I know at the last meeting when we were talking about the resumes, we asked if they could be put into organized as far as industry that would also help us. So is that something that can still be done? Or are we just gonna have the ones that are the resumes listed of those who are not already on the commission review board?
I can break them out in industry for you all. I'll do that.
Thank you.
Okay? I'll have that for you by Friday. Tomorrow is Friday? I'm sorry, who's speaking? Acting President Brown, you have your hand raised?
And take their resume.
I do, but it sounds like Mary was trying to say stuff.
Take their resume is out. This is Mary. Go back and forth. I haven't learned everybody's name yet.
You're breaking up.
She's on the phone.
Okay.
So just while Mary gets her piece, Clerk Walters, what I think we need to do is confirm whether or not this body is actually a public body. Because if so, we need to make sure we get all of the formalities correct, right? So even if we're participating via Zoom, if it is a public body, they need to be on camera as well, right? So it's not just that you can participate on Zoom, you also have to be on the video. So if we can confirm with legal that the Charter Revision Commission is actually a public body that's required to follow open meetings laws, that will help us solidify and confirm and let everyone know what the responsibilities are when it comes to operating the public meeting.
Okay. I'll send an email out again. Okay.
To that point, I know that we have one community member, he was formerly on the Charter Advisory Board, Axel, who was very involved with open meetings. Like if we could have someone maybe come in and talk to us about, so we're all informed of like how the open meetings law works and like how we need to be. Because I know there's so many different things that you have to do with open meetings.
Okay.
If you're not familiar, it's.
So, yeah, Acting President Brown can come in, I can speak with the body to familiarize with it. It's not a tedious thing to do. It's just knowing when you have to be online for the public. And if it's an open meeting, you need to be able to see who's online and they need to be able to see you online as well. So if I were to come in the meeting, I can't just have my picture there. I would actually have to have my physical person there. So as I'm responding, everyone can see me responding.
Right.
It's just like I can't just dial up and start having the meeting because it would, if you're a body that's subject to the open meetings law, then it would be illegal just to be on the phone. You would actually have to have a video where you see them and they see you.
Right, so I provided that information in the first email that I sent out for the meeting, right? In the calendar invite, there's 3 attachments.
Right.
There's one in regards to what a charter review commission is, what open meeting law dictates for the body. And I think the agenda for the other one, and I also provided the charter. So I'm gonna resend that. And I think I'll just start adding it for every meeting invite. So it's, ease of reference for everyone. Okay?
But I mean, even if we could just have someone, so you can ask questions.
Sure, so
I'm
council.
available anytime. I'm sure Councilwoman Brown
Right.
or another councilwoman would be available as well. If they're not available in person, they can come in via Zoom, telephone call, just to answer any questions you have.
Okay. I'm also trying to see if we can have someone from one of the organizations
Yeah, that's
provide more
special.
information. Okay, NICOM or one of those. Okay, yeah. Okay, does anyone else have anything to add? So right now it's I'm sorry.
Oh, no, I just want to clarify. So the plan is for everyone to review the resumes, send their top 2, did we say? Did we go to 2 or 3?
2.
2, send their top 2, candidates. And then based on, if it looks like the majority of us have things in common, then be the person, but we would vote on it at the meeting.
Correct.
Send it just to.
No, each other,
Sorry,
each other, yeah.
And so you all know, there's a chat in SharePoint. You can always communicate in SharePoint, right? I'll send you instructions on how to go about doing that. Okay.
And you're gonna set up poll to see how many we can get for Thursday.
Yes, I'm gonna send a poll. Okay, is that, Miss Bell, do you have anything to add?
No, I'm in.
Wonderful. Okay, so right now, everyone online, we're still having the conversation if Thursday will be more convenient for the majority, right? If you can't meet in person, then you'll meet via Zoom. I will send a poll out this evening, if not tomorrow morning, first thing, for you all to decide. And again, the majority will rule. I'll also provide you with a link. I think I just sent a link that Councilwoman Brown sent to share with you all. You should have received that. And provide you with more information in regards to open meetings law and if this body constitute a body for open meetings law. Okay, to have open meetings law dictate the rules and regulations of this body.
Is Brian Johnson part of the CRB?
Yes, and he couldn't make it tonight. He's aware of the meeting, but he had other plans where he couldn't be able to sit in. He wasn't able to sit in tonight. Okay, but he'll most certainly be, well, I shouldn't say he'll most certainly be here. If he's available, he'll show up next week, Thursday. Yeah.
So we're not sure.
I'm sorry?
Oh,
I believe you're a public body.
We are,
You have
so-
to,
Yes, so you are, as far as my research, and that's why I sent the information out, you are the charter review. In other municipalities, you're a public body, right? And it shows during from my research that you are a public body, but I'll do further research and resend the information that I've already provided you all. Okay?
We were last time, but I don't think we.
didn't have open meetings last time, yeah.
Yes.
so One other point of clarification.
Okay.
Although you're sending out the email to find out who's available for next Thursday, is everyone clear that we have to have 8 in the room?
Yes.
So we have to be able to say it.
Right. Say, well, no, right, if you say you're online, but you have to have 8 in the room, otherwise.
Right.
Okay.
If you don't have 8 physical people in the room for the meeting, then the meeting would have to be postponed until you can have that quorum
Right.
available. And that goes for all bodies, like council, it's 5 of us, but 3 of us have to be in-house, you know.
So should we do more than just Thursday and just have people say, you know, online in the room, like when they can meet, so we can see which day maybe we can get 8 in the room?
Well, I think the challenge is that we're running out of time. So, I mean, we're talking about,
We're running out of days.
we're running out of days. We're already like, you're talking about, this week is done, and then we're talking about one day next week. Like, I think we need to get that set as soon as possible, because the time is gonna run off faster than you know it. So
I agree. That's why I think we need to do more than one day in case we can't get 8.
I know I'm committing to come here next Thursday, because
I will too.
We need,
Right.
We need
probably
8.
like 10, because two, you know, just in case
Oh,
something
two people
happens.
like
Just life happens.
Yeah,
And
probably need 10 to commit.
And
But
it
so
already
it's
sounds
just
like we don't have them.
I think you said, like, you
Yeah.
sent out 2 days. I mean, so that either sounds like it's either Thursday or Friday of next week. That's what this sounds like.
It's either Tuesday, Thursday, or Friday. Monday and Wednesday are already out.
Right.
Tuesday,
So wait,
Thursday.
are we saying Zoom doesn't count at all? Is that what we're saying?
I'm sorry?
Zoom
Not if you
doesn't
don't
count
have-
at all.
If you don't have 8 in the room, Zoom doesn't count. So we need 8
Right.
people in the
In the
room
business.
one day next week.
Or the week after.
Or the, well, I mean,
So every time we have a meeting, you have to have, as per open meetings, so you have to have the majority of the body in the room. Right, so you have to have at least 8 members, because if you wanna take a vote on something, if you don't have a quorum, you can't vote.
Do the people online vote?
As long as you have a quorum in-house, if you got a quorum in-house and the people online are visible, then they can vote. But if you don't
And we have
have
to have the meetings in person, meaning everybody can't be on Zoom, correct?
People can be on Zoom, but you have to have 8 people physically in the building. Wherever you're meeting, there has to be 8 people physically in the building. And then if you needed the other persons who are joining in to be online, they can be online
And visible.
and visible.
visible.
So
Yeah.
you can
So
vote.
in order to vote, right, you have to show your face and you have to be audible, right? You cannot vote on any, you cannot make any decision by vote with your face not being shown. And you're not clearly heard.
Okay, quick question. How many of the committee members are actually on here? Because I feel like, why can't we just take care of that now?
2, 3.
I'm like,
Have you
I'm already, I'm gonna commit to come, so I just feel like, can we get 8 other people?
here Thursday.
And we got 5.
Okay.
So let's just ask the question, I can do, not worry about it.
Thank you.
We got 5 people who can be here Thursday in the
So
room.
then
I
you
can
can
be
So
here
I can be
Thursday.
here Thursday.
5.
That's 6 of us right here, so we only need 2 more.
Monica is online. She said she can be here on Thursday, but she needs the meeting to start at 5:30 PM on Thursday. All right, so we have 5 in-house that can be here on Thursday.
Mary's a maybe.
What's our
Mary's a maybe.
hard stop?
She's online. I'm
For
sorry.
next year? No,
6:45 is our hard stop on Thursday.
So we can start at 6. If we're only voting, let's say, if we're only going to be voting on the 15th member, then we could just do 6.
Start at 6 and so Monica, right.
Yes.
6:45 is a go, right, for you to have a hard stop. It sounds like everyone will be prepared to make the decision on Thursday, and so it won't be held up with a lot of conversations before the voting happens. So if everyone decide to just review all the resumes and come in with what they have, right, their top 2, then we can jump right into it at 6:00 on Thursday. Kevin, are you able to attend in person?
Yes, I'll be there in person.
Wonderful. So that's 7. Dolores?
No, unfortunately, I can do Zoom, but I can't come in person.
Okay, that's fine. So that's seven. I need one more.
Yeah, I could definitely do Zoom, but I have to be in front of a computer for a 7 o'clock meeting next Thursday that I'm leading.
Okay, so can you come in and start your Zoom via phone? Or no? You'd rather be home or in a
I mean, I could come
Your
in, but I
car,
have
I
to
should
leave
say.
like 6. No, I'm leading the meeting, so I kind of need to
Okay.
be like at a desk. But I mean, I could come in, but I'd have to leave at 6:30 the latest to make it no time.
Okay.
So whomever you have online, whom is missing that is not in person or online? I feel like let's.
So Anitra is not here.
So I'm here.
Anisha's here. Oh, I'm sorry, Miss Natalie. Okay, who don't we have?
I just texted Vanessa Ritter,
Vanessa is not here.
out of town. I asked her if she could be here next Thursday at 6.
If Vanessa is here, then we have the 8th.
And get an extra one just in
You wanna
case.
say
And Brian, he should be here too.
Is Brian on the commission?
Yes.
Can that?
Who's Brian? Dwyer?
Unless-
Is Brian on a which Brian?
Not Johnson, not Johnson, not Johnson. Okay,
So there's another Brian.
yes, Dwyer.
Yeah.
And he said he can be here?
Dwyer? No, I'm gonna check with him to see if he could be in, but right now, if Vanessa says yes, she could be here, it's 8. But 8 members already, but you're saying that you want one more just to, solidify.
Just in case.
And that would be the only vote that would need to be taking place next week, right?
Right.
So if people leave after that, but we still have business to discuss, or people need to be sworn in, that could take place afterwards, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Okay,
Like I encourage everyone who has a meeting, come in with an agenda, right? So you'll know when your start is, what you need to cover, and you can get it done. I try not to hold people hostage, so I never want it to look like I'm rushing a meeting, but I make any meeting I'm a part of an hour or less. Because I want to make sure that we get the agenda done. And then if there are questions afterwards, I always make myself available, but I don't want to hold everyone hostage just because Clerk Walters may have 10 questions for me.
oh, Lord.
I'm using that as an example. It's just, if you have someone just has a couple of questions and you can answer questions without being live, because you're not gonna make any decisions, but anytime you're voting, it needs to be live for the public, but it's, I try not to hold people hostage, because working in education as long as I have, I know that the human attention span is 45 minutes or less.
Okay.
So you try to give them a little 15 minutes more than that and just don't drag it.
Is this meeting being recorded?
Yes.
Yes, it is being recorded and we're live. Okay,
Well, I have a question, but I'm hitting this later.
okay, so you can ask me offline when we're done.
Yeah.
Okay. Does anyone else have anything to add? If not, I'm sorry?
Not passing it.
Do you wanna ask it now?
I want to ask if it's being recorded.
Right, so let's close the meeting out. Yeah, let's close the meeting out and then,
Yes.
can I have a motion to adjourn this meeting?
I move that we adjourn the meeting.
Yes,
Wonderful. Who seconded that?
I second.
I said.
Thank you. All right, let's vote. Does everyone vote to adjourn the meeting? Aye. Excellent. This meeting,
All right.
thank you kindly. This meeting is adjourned at 7:04 PM. Thank you all. And have a good night, everyone.
Take care, guys.
Good night.